Hi folks, this is MovieGuy 2005 once again. Welcome back to another video as I am continuing my marathon of the John Carpenter movie reviews. And this time it's going to be on the 1983 horror film, Christine. Let's go ahead and start with the plot, shall we? So basically, the film concerns a high school student named Arnie Cunningham. He's very awkward, very shy, and he's like very unpopular and kind of nerdy. He's like frequently bullied and pretty much the target for all the bullying. He has like a few friends. He finds this car, this old vintage car that's a 1958 Plymouth Fury. And he eventually buys the car, names it Christine. He takes it to Darnell's do-it-yourself garage where he fixes and restores the car, which is pretty impressive for a guy that's like very nerdy and unpopular in high school. But then the car is actually haunted and possessed, so Arnie eventually becomes attached and he becomes like obsessed with the car. He has a girlfriend named Lee along the way. And eventually later on in the film, Buddy and his group of friends that bullied Arnie, they go to the garage where Christine is. They like deface and destroy and vandalize Christine beyond recognition. And him and his girlfriend arrive there only for Arnie to find out his car has been completely destroyed. And then he gets mad about that, and later in the film he stands in front of the wrecked Christine and he says, "Okay, show me." And then Christine fixes and restores herself. And then eventually, she hunts down and tracks down Buddy and his group of buddies. And then she kills them off as an act of revenge for what they did to her. And Arnie's friend, Dennis, and his girlfriend, Lee, decide that it's time to put a stop to Christine and destroy Christine for good. So, yeah, that's basically the plot of the film. Now, I have to mention this. This is based on the novel by legendary horror author Stephen King. And of course, this is the film John Carpenter directed after The Thing, which unfortunately hurt his career. He had like the worst reviews of his career at the time. So I thought John Carpenter did a really good job with this movie. Now, I know, at least from what I read, John Carpenter wasn't exactly particularly passionate about the project. I think he saw it more as a work-for-hire project or something like that. But, oh well, I thought he still did a really good job directing this movie. And I thought Keith Gordon did a really good job playing Arnie Cunningham. I really liked the progression from like this kind of nerdy high school kid who's very unpopular to like pretty much becoming like, I guess, possessed or something like that. Kind of evil looking. Christine is definitely a really cool and very creepy looking vehicle. I've always loved old-fashioned 50s and 60s cars. And of course, Christine is definitely no exception in this case. I mean, you also have John Stockwell who plays Dennis, which I thought he did a pretty decent job for what he did. And you have Alexandra Paul, who plays his girlfriend, which I thought she did a pretty good job. And of course, you have Robert Prosky, who I believe he was in Miss Doubtfire as the judge, if I remember correctly. And he plays Darnell. And of course, Harry Dean Stanton from the original Alien. He was also in Escape from New York a couple years before this. This was produced by Richard Kobritz, which, if I remember correctly, I believe he was the executive producer or just the producer of Someone's Watching Me. I'm not totally sure. I thought this was a pretty good adaptation. Now, I haven't read the book, and I'm curious to know what the book is like. It might leave some stuff out from the book, but I guess that's kind of common for book to film adaptations to do. I mean, what can you really do? But yeah, this is a great movie. Of course, all the songs in Christine are like old 50s rock and roll and pop music. It's all really good songs, and I've always been a sucker for like 50s and 60s music like that, or what people call oldies. And of course, the song that plays at the beginning of the film, Bad to the Bone, by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Now, if you've ever watched this one or T2, you may have heard that song. I mean, it was in, of course, this movie, Terminator 2. I think the first Problem Child, if I remember correctly. It's been quite a bit of stuff. Quite a bit of movies. Yeah. Overall, would I recommend the film? Yeah. I suggest you give it a shot if you are a fan of Stephen King, and of course, if you're a fan of John Carpenter as well. I mean, you get two horror icons in the price of one. So, yeah. Great movie. Alright, so that concludes my review for Christine. As always, thank you guys for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.